Welcome to 90 Degree Turns. I'm your host, Trisha Marcus. Allow me to guide you into your own endless soul expansion as we connect to your heart, discover balance, awaken to healing, and embody your soul's deepest expression. For those of you hungry to expand your mind's beliefs and perspectives, welcome home. Dr. Yashar Ghoreshi graduated from the University of Manitoba in 2008 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Microbiology and Chemistry. He then furthered his education by earning his Doctor of Chiropractic degree in 2012 from one of the most prestigious chiropractic colleges, Life University in Marietta, Georgia. Dr. Ghoreshi went on to complete his internship at Planet Chiropractic in Romeoville, Illinois, and worked closely with Dr. Charles Major, who was a respected and influential mentor to many doctors and co-author of The Cancer Killer: The Cause is the Cure. Dr. Ghoreshi has completed over 250 hours of continued education in functional medicine from Functional Medicine University, covering a wide range of topics including the nutritional approach for changing brain chemistry, advanced blood chemistry analysis, thyroid gland disorders, endocrine disorders, and genetics. Dr. Ghoreshi has also completed his certification in science-based nutrition, which is the treatment of disease using alternative natural care, including dietary modification, vitamin and nutrient supplementation.
This episode is made possible by Merlin's Lab. Merlin's Lab has all your Orgonite pyramid needs with fully customizable orders. Protect your home, clear the energy, and have more restful sleep and overall well-being with Merlin's Lab Orgone Pyramids. Get yours now.
Welcome back to 90 Degree Turns. Here we are with episode 39, joined by Dr. Ghoreshi, owner of the Advanced Health and Pain Center in Chicago. He is a chiropractor. Dr. Ghoreshi, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited for this episode of your podcast. So let's get the ball rolling. And I can't. It's been a while. We tried to schedule this, so I'm really pleased to be able to make it happen.
Yes, and I know that our audience is very interested in your field and the kind of benefits it provides. So I'd kind of like to start off understanding your background here. So what inspired you to get into chiropractic medicine?
So growing up, I was an athlete, and as an athlete, we all get injured here and there, and common thing is we always rely on our family medicine doctors who gives us a muscle relaxant medications, and it works temporarily, but I wasn't really getting the kind of results I wanted. I wasn't performing because I was still in pain, and I always had to take medications, pop Advils here and there just to mask the pain. And it just never resonated with me. Just growing up, I never really liked to take any medications or so. So it just, growing up was my passion to try to get to the bottom of the problem, understand why am I having certain discomfort or pain per se. And when I was at the younger age, I happened to go to my friend's doctor. I didn't even know it was a chiropractor. He was like, "Hey, you got to go see my doctor. He's amazing, and he'll help you with some of the symptoms you're describing." So I showed up there thinking I'm just going to see another regular doctor, and it was a chiropractor. So he did an exam and determined that I had some misalignments. I had my hips were not aligned, and that's why I was performing with my performance when I was playing sports. So we started adjusting my spine, my hips, and I wasn't getting the kind of a joint pains and aches that I was normally getting. And that's what it just made sense to try to figure out what's causing the root cause of the problem is. And instead of chasing the symptoms, let's just address the root cause of problems. And that's what made me want to become a chiropractor growing up. That's because it's just the self-satisfactions that I get with helping people be out of pain by addressing what's causing their symptoms rather than playing the trial and error, try this medications, that medications, and so on. It just never made sense to me. So that's what made me want to become a chiropractor. And I've been loving it since. I've been doing it for over 10 years now, and it's been a blessing.
Awesome. Awesome. So then would you say that chiropractic medicine, it takes a more holistic approach, looking at the root cause of issues versus like more allopathic, where you have to try and treat like the specific disease versus the individual? Like you guys look at a bigger picture of the human body?
Yes, exactly. So with the chiropractic adjustments, as the way you put it, is it is as a holistic approach. Okay, there's no specific disease or condition that I mean, we are as a doctor of chiropractors, we are known to be the doctor who can help with your neck pain and back pain and joint pain. Okay. And there are a lot of other conditions that I was actually like treating at patients with like a TMJ problem that she's been having that probably a lot of people would think the last person who can help with TMJ is a chiropractor. Okay. So what a doctor of chiropractor does is it's a holistic approach that tries to enhances our body's capability to heal itself. Okay. So every individual, we all have this amazing healing power that we have within our own body, that our own body basically, as long as it's functioning as an optimal level, and it heals itself. So what the chiropractors do, or by what the chiropractor adjustments can do, it just enhances that. So we see the body as a holistic approach, see it as a whole, and we just help the body enhance what it's been designed to do to heal itself, and not specifically going after one specific symptom that the body has, and let the body to basically heal and recover itself, rather than just playing, the kind of treatments that, sometimes we get stuck in this vicious cycle of like, try this medications or this trial injections or this and that. And it's very, very non-invasive. There's nothing wrong. Like I always tell my patients, the Western medicine has its own place. Okay. But why wouldn't you want to approach it in a holistic way for any kind of a disease or conditions that you have, to try it the most natural way, let your own body heal it if it can. And if there's no results, then rely on the Western medicine and go like, the allopathic approach that we are all really familiar with.
Very interesting. So then with the chiropractic adjustment, you mentioned that you deal with the spine, right? And then TMJ, that is something that's, I believe, in the jaw that happens. So what is a chiropractic adjustment? Because I'm sure people have seen videos where they kind of just, they hear the body cracks left and right, and they're like, okay, this is it. This is the magic. So can you tell us what really goes on when you do an adjustment?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. So the first one, the cracking sound that everybody seems like to be addicted to it on all the social media nowadays. That's all just releasing a gas, primarily the CO2 that has been accumulated in your joints. So if you want to look at an anatomical perspective, it's like everywhere, every joint that we have fluid in it. It wants it to be either synovial fluid that we have in the joints, or cerebral spinal fluid that we have in our spine. Okay. Bottom line is just a bunch of fluid. It's like a lubricant that we have, that we need to have it there. And everywhere you have fluid, you will get gas accumulated in there. Now, when you do the chiropractic adjustments, which all it is, it's manipulating the joints. It's a very gentle, very high speed, very low amplitude. That means it doesn't apply much of a force. I know sometimes for patients who are not really familiar with, or from some of the videos that it looks very, might be kind of like a frightening, but it's very actually gentle. It applies very high force, very fast, but speed, I'm sorry, but not much of a force applied to the joints to manipulate the joints in a specific way that we as a providers detect which way it needs to get manipulated. And as a consequence of adjusting that joint so rapidly, it releases all the accumulations of the gas that's been accumulated in the joints, and it opens basically opens the gas pockets, and it just rushes that out very rapidly and creates that clicking or that cracking sound. And that's all it is. So basically, manipulating your joints in a proper way with a high speed, very little force, to move it to the place that it needs to be to create that corrected alignment.
Okay. Okay. So can chiropractic adjustments, can they help someone with a stressed out nervous system, or it can it improve immune system function? Are there these kind of benefits, or what can one expect?
Absolutely. So um, your body is it's run by your nervous system, okay, which it connects your whole entire body to one another, okay. So your brain sends a signal down to your spine, and then from there to spinal cord, and then from there, from the nerve roots, it gets distributed to every single cell, muscle, organs. So you literally think of anything that functions in your body is all connected to your nervous system. Now, with everything that we are dealing with, okay, that all these unpredictable events that happens to us, that it increases our hormone levels, our stress hormones, the cortisol level primarily, or causing the muscle tension. All of that is all still connected through your nervous system. Okay, when you do the adjustment, okay, it helps to release the tension that it's been building up around your nervous system. So it calms that down. Okay, it kicks in your parasympathetic system, which is primarily the system that calms down your blood pressure. It reduces your heartbeat. It relaxes your vagus nerve activity. Okay, it calms all of that down. So and that's why also when you, for example, get a massage and you feel relaxed, same thing, because it helps your parasympathetic system to kick in, which it doesn't get deep because you're not addressing any pressure around the nerves that has been caused by misalignment of the vertebrae or so on. Okay, but the adjustments will actually address that too. So it takes the pressure off of the nerve, increases your parasympathetic effects, reduces the tension has been built up around your nervous system. Okay, and that's how it can help uh, allowing you to basically deal with more of these like unpredictable events that happens that life throws at us. Okay, and a lot of times my patients who they start kind of feeling under the weather, and they know that there's something off with their body, they come in, they get adjusted, because they know their nervous system connects to their immune system. When you have better function nervous system, will allow your immune system to function better, and we know the immune system is what, it allows your body to fight any diseases or any problems, that it allows you to be a healthier individual and being able to take on more in this world and not be like basically falling apart.
Mm-hmm. I bet that that also gives way to people to listen to their bodies, right? The intuitive understanding that, okay, if I'm feeling under the weather and this is not normally something that happens for me, maybe it's important, right? Because I feel like many people, they think of a chiropractor when they're in extreme pain, like when they feel that their body is kind of yelling at them to go do something differently than they've had done before. But
Uh,
an emotional response
Absolutely.
also, correct? That if you're just feeling down, maybe an adjustment is what you need.
Well, absolutely. So most of my patients, that they understand how their body works. This is what you brought up. That they're very in tune with their body. Okay, and sometimes you need to explain to the patients. Not everybody has like a science background or understands exactly how the body works. Just like sometimes the best analogy I give my patients is, when your computer is running for a long time. Like you haven't turn it off, you haven't shut it off, and so on. And it just after a week or two, you realize it's kind of like slowing down, and you have all these built up cookies on, the history and this and that. You need to turn that computer off, you reset it, and then it kind of functions exactly like how I was expected. Same thing with the body. Okay. So some of the patients that don't understand how the body functions would never think about like, oh, maybe I should go get an adjustments. Okay. But for the patients that have been explained, like most of my patients do understand the benefit of chiropractic adjustments, and they know, yes, chiropractic adjustments does help with like joint aches and pain, but also as a good side effects is it helps my body to function better and helps me with dealing with anxieties, stress, depression, anything that is kind of like weighing too heavy on the body that's kind of like making the body not function properly. So yes, it's again, it's something that needs, I wish it was more talked about to let the patients understand and know the benefits of the adjustments. It's not just for the back and neck pain. You know, a lot of people think like, oh, I'll go see a chiropractor if I've been in a car accident, for example. You know, it's very common. You know, you go to your family doctors after a car accident saying, you know, you have a whiplash or neck pain or back pain, and a lot of I have a lot of colleagues or family doctors that they send their patients to me after their patient have got into a car accident, for example, because again, all that's what they think is like adjustment is good to relieve your neck and back pain after you got a car accident, but not really talk about. They don't understand how improving your functionality of your body, your again your nervous system, can be very effective in allowing your body to deal with a lot of other symptoms that is making you feel a certain way, you know.
Hmm. Would you say then there is, based on your practice and what you've seen, do you feel like there's a strong like mind body connection as well in terms of healing when someone is injured?
Absolutely. It's when so there are different components, you know, to help the body heal. I'll tell my patients, you know, you need to make sure one, uh, you are adjusted. There's no pressure, there's no misalignments causing nerve impingement. There's nothing pressing against, you know, allowing the nerve flow to that muscle. That's one component of it. Okay. However, that being said, at the same time you need to be well adjusted. You also need to provide the proper nutrients to your body. You know, you need to not rely on the junk food and expect to like, hey, I'm getting adjusted, I can go eat McDonald's all day long, you know, and feel better. And same thing also, the power of mind. Like there are a few elements I always tell my patients, like a primarily five elements that you need to pay attention to all of that too, if you care to have a healthy functioning body at all time. Yes, once you get adjusted, you need to provide the proper nutrient to your body. Once that's also provided, you need to provide the proper hydrations to your body. You know, so making sure your cells are healthy, they're hydrated, they're not dehydrations. Okay, you need to make sure you're eliminating all the toxins, okay, from your body. And the last one is the power of mind. Absolutely, you need to have that, because your mind plays a huge important role, and your mind is connected to your brain, which is connected to your nervous system. Everything is all tied back to your nervous system. Okay, the powers mind is very important to making sure that, you know, and sometimes they kind of like, you know, do you focus on adjustments or the power of mind, or which? They're both basically the same thing. You know, your nervous system is your power of mind. Your mind is your brain. Your brain is your nervous system. There are all your spine, your spinal cord is extension of the brain, that it just runs down to the rest of your body. Okay, so they all basically interconnect with one another, and in order to have a fully functioning healthy body, yes, you need to pay attention to all of those elements, and not ignore them, and then do your best and provide what the body needs.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I feel that understanding the interconnectedness of one system and another and how it all works together is is something that's really beautiful about the human body, right? Because all of it's interconnected. There is not one system that is separate or that is independent entirely from another within the bodies that we have. Um, so I would like to then talk about then we've already kind of covered how chiropractors are different, but what's in your point of view, what makes chiropractors different from other regular doctors?
So my patients do ask that question often. So we are all providers. You know, we are all in this field to help people overcome their discomfort, and we just have different philosophies, as far as if you want to get more clinical and to understand that. So the doctor of chiropractors, just like how your medical doctors, we have to do a bachelor's degree. Okay, we go to usually a science background related, about 3-4 years to have all the prereq courses, just the same prereq courses for medical school. Okay, that's exactly the same. After, when you have that first 3-4 years of your prereq and your bachelor degrees is done, then it's a 4-year program, which is again same thing with medical doctors, a 4-year program. Okay, and now as far as what we cover, there is the anatomy is about very similar. Okay, the chiropractors actually they focus a lot more on musculoskeletal and neurology aspect of it, versus the medical doctors, they focus more on like pharmacology. Okay, so I know back in 10 years ago when I was in school, we did have pharmacology classes, but there was a very limited number, like the basic ones. Okay, I think we did about like maybe like 30 hours in total of pharmacology classes, versus like medical doctors, like they do 100 hours. Okay, but again, we don't really care about that because our focus is more on body's musculoskeletal, neuroscience, physiology. Okay, we get similar like 8 hours of physiology. Okay, we focus a lot on nutrition. I know like medical doctors, they kind of like cover maybe only 20 to 30 hours, versus I know the doctor of chiropractors covers like anywhere from like 60 to 90 hours of nutrition classes. But bottom line is, we both go through the very extensive 4-year programs. Okay, and chiropractors focus on the neurological and versus and musculoskeletal, versus the medical doctors focus on more heavily on the pharmacology and symptom based. Doctor of chiropractors are not specifically symptom based, because we are not chasing specific symptom. We are all about trying to help improve your body's function, versus trying to like figure out what's disease, what's pain, is basically how we can mask the problem. And I always tell, this is a good example I think I should give now, that that I tell my patients, is like when you cut your skin, we all usually put a band-aid on it, right? And it heals and it helps it heal. But it's not the band-aid that it fixes the cut, or when you break a bone, we go put it in the cast, and yes, the cast will help, so you're not moving the bone around, so keep the bone as close to the other piece that is broken. But ultimately, it's not the cast that is enhances or stimulates the healing, and it does the healing. It's your own body. Okay, so it always comes down to your own body. So chiropractors do that. We just stimulates your own ability to heal, versus some other doctors. Again, their philosophy is a little bit different. They're like, hey, what symptom do you have? Oh, you are having this specific symptom. Therefore, there's a specific medications to take for that specific symptom. And let's just go and try it, see if it works. If not, then there's tons of other medications that it kind of apparently is supposed to help with that specific symptom. We're going to try that. So that's what the difference is basically comes down to the philosophy, what we do or how we try to approach and fix a symptom or discomfort, versus the medical doctors, that they have their philosophy that is they've been trained on, is a little bit different. That's how we are different. I know at the end of the day, we all try to help the patients to get them out of the discomfort, but how we go about that is a little bit different. That's how we're different.
And I really liked hearing the breakdown of the different types of coursework you do, because it speaks volumes as to what is the ultimate approach to and the goal, right? Because like you said, you guys are more doing a holistic approach with chiropractic medicine, looking at the body as a whole, versus trying to push a kind of cocktail of substances for someone to hopefully heal through that route. So I really appreciate that breakdown. It was very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And then just if you want to know, I was just actually trying to get a final. I was curious myself too, and wanted to, for your audience, maybe they might be curious. If you want to know like the difference of the credit hours that a doctor of chiropractors versus a medical doctors they do, looking at it here online, and your audience can look it up themselves. That so there are about 4,700 credit hours that a doctor of chiropractors they will do in that 4 years, and there are about 4,500 total hours that the medical doctors do. So they're very similar. It's just the branch is a little bit different, heavily like focus on like spinal manipulations and nutrition and musculoskeletal and your nervous system, versus the medical doctors is more like pharmacology, immunology, histology is just a little bit different, but very similar programs, both of them about like, 4,500 and above credit hours that we all study during that 4 years.
Very, very interesting breakdown. So I want to know then, let's say someone is pregnant and they want to have a child. Can they do adjustments? And on top of that, what cases would even a child need an adjustment? Is that something that you'd recommend, given the people that you see at your practice?
Absolutely, yeah. I have many of my patients that are either early in pregnancy or late in pregnancy. I adjust all the way till the very end of the third trimester. That's obviously, when you're having a baby growing in you, it applies a lot of pressure in your lower back. It moves the uterus to the forward. It causes imbalances in the hip. You will start having back pain. It puts pressure on your sciatic nerve, shoots down, go to your legs, and so on. So chiropractic adjustments can significantly reduce that discomfort. Okay, some of the moms that are in so much pain that they unfortunately will take pain meds, which we know it's not really the best recommended options when you have a baby inside of you. So by doing the adjustments, it takes pressure, it realigns the hips, takes pressure off of the hip, it takes pressure off of the nerves that is sending the signals towards your perispinal muscles that are super tight. So it releases the pressure from the nerves, that it helps for those muscles to also relax. Okay, so it helps significantly in the most natural way that you can deal with during the pregnancy. And also for kids, a lot of my patients do ask like, oh, can I bring my kid, or how would the adjustments be safe for a kid, or why would a kid want to get adjusted, or so on. Well, we know our kids, they always like, they're accidents prone, they're always falling, and they are also they have bones and a spine and nerves. Okay, so just like how you would benefit, and your bodies, or an adult's bodies, parasympathetic and nervous system can benefit from adjustments, so can kids. Okay, now the adjustments for kids are a little bit different. I do adjust as early as 1 year old, because sometimes patients are like, what's the youngest that you can adjust? You can bring your newborn babies to adjust. The different style of adjusting is going to be different from a newborn than like how I would adjust you, for example. But yes, it would also benefit them to help enhance their nervous system, for their nervous system development, better functionality of their nerve roots going back and forth between the brain and the rest of the body, which again also helps to enhance the developing of other organs and so on. So that's how a baby can also benefit from an adjustment.
Oh, that's very interesting. So I didn't know that children could have a benefit from adjustments. I mean, I'd always heard that sometimes parents bring their kids in, but to hear that you can adjust a newborn and like a 1-year-old, I mean, I can only imagine what that does for them later down in life. If they're already everything is working and functioning even better and superb than it could be, maybe if
Yeah,
they didn't.
I mean, one of the I had actually a few days ago, I had a patient who her baby was she's about 3 years old or so. This poor baby has been constipated for in a few days, and all of that, just we're talking, and all that is just like the baby's digestive system is just not functioning properly. Why? I can't tell you why. For whatever, either what's the baby's been eating or so, but the body can basically push things out, and as long as it can communicate, but it just wasn't working. Was not functioning, and the baby was just crying and just was uncomfortable and so on. So I had the baby adjusted. Okay, and I had to see the parents the following 48 hours, and they came in and brought the baby again. They're like, "Oh my God, Dr. Juice, you won't believe it." As soon as we got in, the baby, did number two, and all it is again. So take pressure in your lower lumbar area. All of the nerves that are coming from the lumbar are going to your digestive system and all of that. If there's a pressure built up there, then that system is just not functioning at an optimal level. And yes, it can create constipation. So, and all I did is to detect where there is a misalignment, which in our vocabulary is called subluxation. Subluxation is basically means pressure on the nerve due to pressure, tension on the muscles, or misalignment of the vertebrae. That's a subluxation, which is not a good thing to have. You want to be free of subluxation. So I just removed the subluxations, the nerve pressure, realigned that vertebrae, and so the body could connect better internally at an optimal level. And then next thing you know, the baby's feeling a lot better without any taking medications or anything.
Very more natural, like organic approach to it. That's
Exactly.
very, very interesting. So then I'm curious. You have a lot of different clients that come into your practice here, and I'd like to know what are some common conditions that you treat clients with. I know that you look at the whole body approach, but what are some common things that people can go to a chiropractor for?
Well, the common conditions patients come in is primarily the neck pain, primarily the lower back or the mid back pain, or the migraines or the headaches. Those are the common conditions that a lot of people know, or they assume that a chiropractor can help with, which we can absolutely help with that. Okay. But what I like to talk about is the uncommon conditions that patients would never think about going to see a chiropractor. Is, for example, a TMJ, like discomfort in the jaw or clicking of the jaw, which that can contribute towards sometimes your headaches or the tensions that you have. Okay, so that's one example. The other one is most chiropractors they focus on the joints. So, carpal tunnel, for example, that the wrist tension built up around the wrist due to over repetitive of motion of either typing or painting or doing anything that involves repetitive motions of the wrist involvement, that it creates tension that a lot of times doctors they recommend surgeries to loosen things up with that ligaments that you have that it becomes tight, but chiropractor adjustments can help with that. A lot of times I get patients that through their treatments that the topic of being anxious or depression kind of comes about, or fatigueness or low in energy, okay, that you would never think a chiropractic adjustments can help with those. Those are the things that patients get significant improvement after they get adjusted. I should mention that it's not like you get one adjustment and it's like hallelujah, you see an immediate change right away. Depending on how chronic the condition is and how healthy or unhealthy the patient is, what their age is. There's like a lot of factors that goes to it to show the effectiveness of an adjustment. Okay, but usually I would say most of my patients they notice some degree of changes after the very first adjustment. Okay, and then we just work together to optimize and get the maximum amount of improvement that we can get. And then once patients, I should mention that that usually you want to build structural and muscle memory of the body. Okay, so we all have a bad posture or bad habits, and the body gets used to that. Okay, so now you want to break that habit. It will take some time. Okay, and with trying to healing the conditions, trying to help the body to heal, healing takes time and repetition. Okay, so when I see a patient, regardless of what the condition is, usually at the very beginning, the frequency will play a huge role, and it all depends on, again, how severely the condition or how chronic the condition is that we are dealing with. So I see patients either from 2 to 3 times a week for anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks to a little bit longer. And then as we notice that things are changing and hopefully for better, then we reduce the frequency. to the point that we maximize improvement. Hopefully the condition has been eliminated. And then after that, I always tell my patients that if you want to make sure your body stays in the state of healthiness and feeling as good as it does, and then we go into the maintenance adjustments that usually my patients are really good. They come in once or twice a month, sometimes a little bit more often, sometimes a little bit less. It comes down to what your lifestyle is like. Are you active? Do you stretch on your own? Do you exercise? Or do you drive? Or do you sit for 8 hours? Do you drive for hours? Do you not do any sorts of exercise or activity? Or do you abuse your body? Do you, for example, go horseback riding, and then you do go CrossFit, and next thing you go skiing and snowboarding, and then of course you're beating up your body? And do you think you would benefit from getting adjustments the next day and more often? Yes, absolutely. So every individual is a little bit different. So I customize my treatments to my patients depending on, what the conditions we are dealing with and who the patient is. Do they do their exercise in the mornings and meditations and yoga and all of that, or no? Do they, just get up in the morning and start sitting behind a computer for 8 hours, and then they don't do any sorts of, posture improvement exercises or anything? So patient to patient is a little bit different. But that's how and this unique about adjustments is some patients will hold adjustments for a lot longer time. Some patients, they go out of alignments a lot more frequently, and they need more adjustments quickly, a lot more often. So you alter and customize, altered individualized treatments to that specific patient for that specific condition.
So it's very much a case by case basis, and everybody will have they have a different connection to their bodies. So it is very customizable to every single person and what their lifestyle is like.
Absolutely.
Right?
And then, yes, absolutely. And then I work, with, in addition to the chiropractic adjustments, and I do some rehabilitations, physiotherapy. There are some other modalities I utilize. Again, it all depends on what I'm dealing with. Some patients benefit from doing cupping that I do on them. Some patients benefit from doing Graston, which is, similar kind of like a gua sha technique. Patients benefit and they get benefits from getting ultrasound done or electric stimulations done, tractions done. There's a lot of other things that that I personally do at my clinic. I can't speak for all chiropractors out there that, some do, some don't utilize these other modalities. But I do that because I see patients respond a lot better. Again, as we talked about, there are different components, and my goal is to help any aspect of your body that I feel I can help to enhance that. I won't hold back, and I will do that. Now, if I have to do a little bit of spend more time to show you some stretches and exercises, doing some physiotherapy, and then doing some other modalities, I will absolutely will do that with you. And you've been to my clinic, and you know exactly how I do the adjustments. It's just not walking, getting adjusted, and walk out. So it gets customized to that patient's needs.
Yes, yes. I love that you go into the depth of the relationship you build with the client, and you make sure that they're being taken care of in the right way and that their body is functioning properly. I know that our audience, they're based all around the world, but you are located in Chicagoland, right downtown. So I would like to, if you could share, where could we find your practice? What kind of, if you have a website, social media we can follow you on?
Yes, absolutely. I am in the lovely Windy City, as you said, in Chicago area. I am in a West Town and Ukrainian Village, right at the corner of Chicago and Damon, which is very close to West Loop, Wicker Park, Logan Square, South Loop, Pilsen, all of that neighborhood. And my social media, yes, I do post some adjustments. I'm primarily more active on Instagram, and my patients and any of your audience, feel free if they have any questions. My patients do reach out to me on social media as well for quick questions about certain exercises, or mattress questions I get a lot, or pillow questions that I get a lot, and what pillow is the best pillow, or what mattress, or so on. But yes, they can also find me on social media, primarily on Instagram, and my Instagram is Dr as Doctor, period, and my last name Ghoreshi, Ghoreshi for Instagram. And one other thing that we didn't really talk about, I will touch briefly on it, is my patients ask that, hey, are chiropractic treatments covered by insurance? Okay. And yes, they are. Again, it depends on what insurance, but the primarily the major insurances, such as the Blue Cross, your Aetna, your United Healthcare, and Humana, and so on, they do cover chiropractic adjustments. So sometimes patients kind of like refrain from going to see chiropractors because they think like they don't have any coverage. But as long as you have those big major insurances, or even the small ones, it really comes down. You just need to find out and ask. But yes, chiropractic treatments are covered by most of the insurances.
Okay, great. I know that people are being more like conscious with where they spend things, with all the money that is out there, and everyone's working hard to make their ends meet. So it's been wonderful to talk with you, Dr. Ghoreshi. I've learned a lot. I didn't know very much. I know I go to you as a chiropractor, but I didn't know all these details of how impactful from a scientific perspective, how just what chiropractic medicine does for the body, and especially that it could be done on women if anyone's looking to have a child. Like, that's very interesting. That I didn't know that, and I know that we had some users that responded to our like Instagram posts, and they wanted to know these questions. So it's been wonderful to speak with you, and we will definitely have any links you'd like to share with us in the bio below here. And thank you so much for coming on, Dr. Ghoreshi. It's been a great time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And it was a pleasure, knowing you and being able to do this. My mission is to try to, spread the word out there to the world, and, go seek, find out who's your neighborhood chiropractor is. And if you've never been adjusted, go get adjustment. There's no harm in feelings. You're going to feel amazing. It just helps your brain and body to connect better. And then I'm very, happy that you have these podcasts, to try to spread the words out there, and educating the people, and doing our little that we can. And again, people can get a hold of me at either my social media, and my website is advancedhealthpc.com. They can also email me there too. So it was a pleasure talking to you, and thanks for having me on your podcast.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Ghoreshi. We will see everybody on the next one, and have a great evening.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.